Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to game number 1 in a best-of-5 series between Gungun and Erdősküll. Hopefully we got that right. We're going to call him Eddie because that's much easier for us UK plebs to say. But this will be a round of 64 match for the New World Championships 2019. And the top 8 from this qualification, this offline qualification round, will be invited to the studio in Manchester where we are right now to compete for the LAN finals. Maybe we'll see one of these players there, maybe we won't, but it will be Gungun spawning in the top of the map in the colour red, playing as the Germans here. It's going to be a 100 wood crate start, so not a huge amount of potential for a trading post. Germany not going to be too pleased with that, but it's going to be the same for France, who we have in the bottom as well, just the 100 there. I imagine to see a market, but yes, this is a round of 64 game, and both these players actually quite strong. So usually what we've been seeing in these round of 64 games is sort of clean sweeps actually, because the top seeds get put against the bottom seeds, and you know what happens there. But these two, Gungun, here he is actually, or once was, sort of one of the top players, sort of PR40, very high elo, but currently quite rusty. He has only sort of just recently come back to the game, so to speak, and is, I think, playing because of this tournament. So here he is. We'll see how rusty he really is, or if he's
so rusty that 94% of the chat thinks he's going to win.
Oh, babe.
Apparently, I don't know, the betting overlay has just disappeared. But a lot of people favouring Gungun in this matchup.
Okay, so maybe I think there have been reports, so to speak, that he has actually been playing on other accounts, not necessarily on his main Gungun. So maybe not as rusty as I'm saying. But his opponent in the bottom here, Zach Erdősküll, we'll call him Ed, like I said.
We'll call him Ed. Just keep it easy.
I think I introduced the players the wrong way round, but actually this is Erdősküll, not Gungun.
Ed's in the north in the red.
Yes, right.
And Gungun is in the south in the blue.
Okay, we have
Ed
that.
is playing as the German, and Gungun is playing as the French.
Yes, we have that established now. But to continue my train of thought, this guy, he's very active and actually quite a strong player at the moment. So I think we'll give Gungun a run for his money. So if not anything else, we will see some close games and should be quite good. So we'll keep you posted, I suppose. We're here casting it now. Let's see how this game unfolds. Shall we take a look at the treasures before we get into this then? So, Zach, what do we see so far?
We're just seeing Erdősküll there, or Ed, sorry, taking some food, 30 food. He also picked up 30 XP, so I'm not massively impressed by his treasuring so far, whereas Gungun picking up 50 wood, picking up 50 coin, and an extra 20 coin on top of that. Looks like he's ahead in the treasuring department at the moment.
Yeah, and about to come across the geological survey here. Not the best treasure, but going to give him access to seeing the line of sight of all of the mines. I think you're right. I think in terms of age 1, actually Gungun doing slightly better, but that's to be expected. He is playing as the French. They start with an extra scout and can sort of find all of those treasures a bit sooner. But actually, Ed, the red player here, Germany, has found the scout. He's managing to do a little bit of damage to it, so that's going quite low there, and might be able to pick it off. Maybe not now, but we'll find it later on. Perhaps it'll go into stealth mode around his base, and he'll find it with his explorer and can finish it off. Doesn't really want to be losing the scout. Always quite valuable to have that. 50 more wood, though. Gungun,
so good for him.
He's doing very well in terms of treasures.
This was a low wood start as well, I believe, so just getting that extra wood in from those 2 treasures, that's nice. And you see he's already transitioned all those villagers onto the wood now as he ages up.
Yeah, this is going to be really helpful because he wants to get that trading post down now. You can see here it is going down a little bit sooner because of that 50 wood treasure and the one that he found earlier. But ultimately, these can be on wood for less time because he needs to get the house down, he needs to get the market down, and the trading post and get the upgrades in as well, saving for steel traps. And then they can all go back to food and gold a little bit sooner, which will be ideal. He can have more resources for that. But Gungun, here he is, going up with the quartermaster. His opponent, the Germany, going to also build a trading post in transition, and as you can see, not quite as fast, was down to that wood treasure, but also going to be going up with the quartermaster by the looks of it as well. Market going down now.
All right, so what are we expecting to see here? Do we think that we'll see Eduardo trying to raid out with the stable and go for the Ulan? or we're going to see something different here and we'll see a barracks instead?
I think traditionally we do usually see Germany starting with Ulan in this matchup. It's the question of whether or not France will go with the stable or the barracks, but we'll see what they intend to do. I fully expect to see Germany drop a stable, train 5 cavalry, and they'll also get 2 for free, as we know, with their shipments, and that's going to be sort of 7 cav really early on, and with those you can be quite aggressive. It's really quite what, you know.
Oh, hello.
There's the stable now. So these 5 hussar that he trains could, you know, they can't really venture too far, or if they do, they've got to be very careful because they don't want to get caught by those ulans. They don't want the snare to happen because then, 7 is greater than 5 and they'll really not have a very good time. But going to be going to the stable. Sometimes, like we saw yesterday, you can start with muskets and defend against the units that way. And
so what's the motivation to go with the stable here rather than the barracks? If you're kind of expecting that the German player might go for the Ulan, like having the muskets might be a good sort of preemptive play to that, and obviously if you're going into cav you might expect to see the Doppelsodner coming out as well later on, so I expect then we'll see Gungun adding that barracks at some point. But what's the motivation to start with the stable here as the French?
Yeah, we might see a barracks. I think it's just more flexible. They're faster moving units. You can move more quickly to defend your units. You can go across the map and be aggressive. If you're making musks, they're probably just going to stay at home. And also, once you actually get to the fortress age, musketeers become sort of a bit useless. They just sort of don't, dragoons become your anti-cavalry. I like this. Going to split off his cavalry there just to deal with the explorer, and are going to be sending and 2 going forward as well. Let's hope they don't get spotted. But Gungun, he's quite a strong player, probably won't get spotted by that. Yeah. But something interesting, Zach, is he started with 700 gold. Gungun actually not going to be going with what we'd usually see, 4 villages. Instead, just going to straight into gold, and with that, just help. I think. I'm not sure. We'll see what he does. Maybe he'll go for 2, but let's go to switch units in queue.
Is it to just keep the production of the hussar going like a little bit better?
Yeah, I think that's. That's not ideal. There's a lot of cav here. He's okay. 3 more coming in, but there's with more reinforcing in the back. I think Erdősküll actually. This is a really strong fight for him, and you can already see. Yeah, Gungun's just going to get melted away here. Going to try and retreat with what he can, but that catch was.
He's got more reinforcements coming. Another batch of 3 coming over there.
Yeah. And that's nice, and that's, as you were saying, a direct result of that 700 coin shipment. So usually 4 villages, such a solid shipment, especially early on. But I think that 700 coin, as you said, used to create a few extra hussar and sort of get this edge, which is probably why I wasn't too afraid of taking that fight in the middle after all.
He followed that up, by the way, with 700 wood, so we might see a transition into a barracks now as well. Potentially, I don't know if he'll actually do that just yet, but he's got a lot of wood in the bank, so he can definitely spend that on something next. But at the moment, I think it's interesting. You said he didn't send the couriers, so it's just going to be more of an eco shipment approach.
Okay, looks like Erdősküll sees a barracks. He's going to place a barracks down. He saw sort of the extra hussars there, and as a result of that, thinks, okay, I'd better make some Doppelsodners. I better stay colonial a bit longer. I can't be going up right away. But yes, followed up with 700 wood, and he's going to need to do that simply just to build houses, and also, as you said, going to add a barracks in there, just so he's got the flexibility of both units there. And with that, I'm sure he'll also get some, if he hasn't already done so. Yeah, he's got all of these upgrades. But okay, so looks like Germany and France going to be staying age 2 a bit longer, and now quite a few hussars coming in. It looks like they're going to be able to pick off a Ville here, but I am a little bit concerned. We can see Doppelsodners in queue, and there's a lot of Ulans nearby, so if they get near... Okay, so he's going to leave.
So just to pick up on this again, like sort of sending the crates of basically 1,400 resources, I think that sort of results in him getting a quicker income rather than sort of sending the couriers and then waiting for them to gather it. Is that correct?
Well, my thoughts are that you can usually get 5 hussars as your first batch and then train another 5 hussars without having to send any shipments of resources at all. You could just send 4 villagers and still get 10 hussars if that's what you wanted. But maybe he thought for some reason he wouldn't be able to do that. I don't know what went wrong. But to start with coin for whatever reason... I think I'm not really sure what to say.
Right, the Doppelsodners are there, and if he gets the catch here,
yeah, he's going to.
Got to be very careful. Okay. Oh, this could go quite badly.
This is all right because like these cav will have a hard time getting to the rest of them. But he sees the Dops now, and this is time to get on out of here. This huss here going to have to drop back so that the rest of the group can break the snare. But
he's going around the backside as well. Oh, he's playing this one very well.
Yeah, just to keep them, force this fight to happen. Does have a few musks of his own now coming in, which will be strong against the Dops, but the Dops are already here on top of these cav. Now trying to get away there. He really cannot be taking damage from those Doppelsuddeners, but going to try and kite back with these musks and deal with them. But there's so many units here. The Cav going to get the snare, and then the Dops will be able to get around on top and do what they do best, which is absolutely destroy things.
Absolutely destroy things.
Yeah.
Oh man, I should play Germany. I want a unit that absolutely destroys things. And, well, case in point, he destroyed those musks quite comfortably.
Yeah, and now Erdős School is actually very far ahead at the moment. That was a really nice Age 2 from him there. And it's going to make this very difficult for France because now you can't be out on the map gathering resources. It's going to be quite vulnerable, and he's going to have to be gathering from those berries for the time being until he can sort of create some more units to contest, get a bit of map control. However, is going to be aging. I sort of like this. He's going to get up to the next stage, get those skirmishers, which are going to be really strong against Doppelsuddeners and things like that. And that is eventually where France wants to go. But here is the trouble, right? He's going to have to gather berries for the time being.
Can't push out, can he? Not when he's got only 2 military on the field. That's probably in the form of 1 hussar. And, yeah, he's got no control over the map. But he is aging, like you say. So once he gets up, he's got a shipment ready. What do you think he'll send? Maybe a military shipment here just so he can get some kind of a power spike and clean up Ed's army here.
Probably be like 8 skirmishers or 5 dragoons, just because those are like the 2 most cost-effective ones.
Yeah.
If he sends the skirmishers, he'll train dragoons, and if he sends the dragoons, he'll train skirmishers. Right? Like either way, he's going to have skirms and goons, and the goons will fend off the cavalry really effectively, and the skirms will deal with Doppelsuddeners. But it looks like with Erdős School's advantage that he got from the big fight, he's going to use that to be absolutely fine to just destroy this. France will no longer have a trading post, and we've been seeing these Uhlans just sort of run around and do damage to him in his base. But looks like Erdős School not going to follow up. He's trained another batch of Dops. These are 200 resources each. They're very expensive. So
he's just to interject, he's using his market there as well. He's buying food from the market. He was floating a lot of coin, and he's just bought his way basically up now to the Fortress Age. He'll click that. But I think now the difference in timing here is interesting because Gungun, I guess, has a window of opportunity to do some damage. And we'll see if he can do that. He's at least moved his couriers back out to take some hunt.
He doesn't have what units to do damage with is the trouble.
Yes,
yeah,
that's the problem.
That's the only issue. He would really like to be using that. But
he's made a mistake there. Actually, I think Oh no, never mind. I just saw that single goon, and I thought he didn't finish his batch or something. Maybe he did, but
yeah, that might well be the case. Actually,
moved over to Kuroshers now. Anyway.
I see. Yeah, wow. Okay, that's interesting. So the Dops, I was going to say actually, with this extra batch of Doppelsuddeners from Erdős School, he's going to be up quite a bit later and be like almost a shipment behind. So I think Gungun is now like his position is much better now. I think Erdős School could have like really punished his opponent a bit better. Okay,
careful for those guys.
But they are both now up. And that is fine, but I think the red player could have been up a little bit sooner, but should be okay. Yeah,
Love it. So walk me through like Kuroshers here versus the Doppelsuddeners. Do they still just wreck house?
They're gonna get these any kind of cavalry. It doesn't matter what, as long as they have a cavalry tag. Hand cavalry, the dragoons have ranged cavalry, right? They're just going to get spanked by the Doppelsuddeners. Like, it doesn't matter. As long as they get into combat, these things absolutely just mince everything, right? They're 20 times 3 with area damage. It's absolutely bananas is the only way I can describe that. So I am quite surprised that Gungun has gone for all of this cavalry. He is starting to train skirmishers now, but like he's not really going to be able to take fights.
Raid on the right side though. Ed's coming in here. He's going to find that gold mine or the coin mine. Sorry, probably. But at the same time, there's an attack coming in on the north from Gungun here. He's going to catch some settlers.
But the Dops are nearby, and these will just have to leave now.
Yeah, and there you go.
Oh, big
That's a
catch!
good raid from
That's really solid.
That's huge.
These are just so far away, right?
No, he's going to lose about 8-9 couriers there. Look at that graph go in the top left.
And that's the trouble.
That's potentially game winning for Ed there.
Being France is a great thing because your villagers have 40% range resist, but against Germany it is a curse because normally villagers have melee resist. You see here, those normally villagers have melee resist, so you actually don't. That means Carreras are weaker to these kind of cabs than the normal villagers. So in a way, the Carreras are weaker, which is a real shame for him, and he lost a bunch there.
Sorry, I'm just getting distracted by the chat. Comet's getting a little bit enthusiastic about Ed's pick there. But
yeah, well, I bet he's got a lot of points riding on. But, the betting actually ended up 65 to 35, so roughly 2/3 and a third, one to Gungun in favour.
Well, it's absolutely not over yet. Militarily, they're fairly even. Obviously, Goon just took a big hit to his eco. But he could absolutely do some damage in return. If he takes a good fight now and finds some villagers of his own, I guess that will be his objective in the next minute.
He's learnt from his mistake. He's going to gather resources with all his villages sort of together so that the military are never too far. That really is Fertile Crescent is a map where you do sort of have your villages gathering quite far away from safety. So you do need to have military units nearby, or as we saw from in the show match yesterday with outposts and things like that, just to garrison the villages in.
Ed. They're a bit exposed, and they're settler wagons as well, so they're a bit more valuable, and they're going to get caught. So we'll see if Ed responds to this. He is bringing his mass over now.
These, however, do have 405 hit points, so if he breaks the cav away from this group, they should be able to travel more quickly. But this could be a nice counter catch. You're absolutely... Oh, no, he's going to have to get out of there. They're all survived, but they are quite low HP. Well, it's very hard to kill these. They're just so tanky, right? But they are now quite low HP. I definitely could have killed a couple if he'd stayed a moment longer, but you don't want to... These units are expensive. You don't want to be taking shots for free, right? So he's going to have to get on out of there. Perhaps he can come back for the raid another day. But now that the dust has settled, it is fairly even military unit pop. I think Red slightly ahead, but only because Gungun's got a batch on the way or something like that that's not popped yet. But in terms of economy, we're looking really solid for Red. He's 10 vils up. So Red just needs to not throw his units away. If he can just defend nicely and not take too many risks, he's going to be in a solid position. It's all on Gungun to make something happen.
Yeah, I find it's interesting as well the way Ed's sort of positioned his eco. He's actually splitting his settler wagons out over different mines so we can keep them going. But here's a good fight coming in now. We've got some war wagons in the mix as well.
Yeah, and this looks absolutely solid for the German player. There's just he's got 4 different unit types, and he's gonna if he has to commit to a fight, could be really awkward. He's trying to, I guess, take down some. These are gonna force away any of these cavalry, but the skirms, they're gonna try and focus them down, being careful not to lose them all. And the war wagons here are gonna be very strong against the cuirassiers in the back there. Skirmishers also going to be trying to focus down. These are the key targets for the skirmishers at the moment.
The Doppelsodners right now. They're getting in lower numbers. I noticed he was putting them in cover mode, sort of tanking a bit more as well. At the moment, the military count's slightly favouring the red players still, but this fight is so important. It all hinges on this.
Looks like we're going to jam the Uhlans in there. They found a really nice spot. They're on top of quite a lot of skirmishers. The war wagons, they're going to try and focus down the cuirassiers. I think actually...
Doppelsodners, though, getting really stuck in there.
Yeah, but they're not on the side of the cavalry, but maybe they'll be out. They're up here next to the goons. I think this is a really solid fight for Red. He's lost a lot of Uhlans, but they've done a lot of damage.
Oh, that's going to start snowballing as well, as they get on top of those skirmishers there. A couple of goons in the back, but the numbers are too low, and these skirms are going down.
That could well be GG right there. These skirms absolutely toast. These skirms toast as well. And remember, Gungun is 10 villages down. This fight really had to go well for him.
Yep, there it is.
There's the GG coming in. That's interesting.
Oh, well. How did you do that?
I don't know. I think that's what
Magic.
Maito was complaining about something yesterday, but maybe it was this. I don't know how I did that. Maybe I can write Escape TV. There we go.
You can write ETV. There you go.
ETV. Yeah, that
seems good.
That works. But that was game number 1. It looks like Erdős, despite the betting, going to be picking up the first victory there. Congratulations if you betted for him, because that's a lot of points coming your way. I think you're in a solid chance to win. There is no prize today. It's not one of our show matches, but it is still a lot of fun. But we're going to switch on out, and we'll see you on the other side, I suppose.
No post game? Not today.
Not today.
Not today. Right. So game 2 is actually going to be on Florida, because map 2, Pampas Sierras, was vetoed. I believe that was vetoed by Gungun, and New England vetoed by Ed there. But we'll get our second game going as soon as we can here. We'll see what the civs are looking like as we go into the lobby here. We'll see what gets locked in. So it should be Gungun's pick first.
Gungun will...
Sorry, no, Ed's pick first, right?
Yes, Gungun gets to pick afterwards because he was the victor. Just a moment.
He's not Victor, he's Goon.
Pardon me. Victor.
Sorry.
Victor.
That was poor.
I don't know what Goon's actual name is. It's probably not Victor. That would be a really big
If it was
coincidence.
Victor, then the irony being he's not actually victorious yet.
All right.
Let's have a look at the lobby, see what's picked here. It looks like Ed is going for the Brits, and we'll see if he locks that in.
Yeah, he has to pick first, as we mentioned, and he's going to go for the British. The next map is Florida, where you start with a market. So British going to get a really nice hunting dogs. They're going to be able to get their manners down and have hunting dogs. That's insane. That's going to be really good. Yeah, it always feels good when you get a start like that.
I love the Brits. They're so good.
Yeah, you've been playing a lot of Brits.
Yeah, I have. I've been spamming the Brits. I think I found the Civ.
You've finally fallen in love.
Because
you were playing, at least to begin with, quite a lot of China and then Russia. Those were your sort of early flirting days, were they? You've now settled down with the British. But Edward O'Teach coming in with the subscription.
Eddie, thank you very much. And you've come at the perfect time, Eddie. We've got Edurdu School here. So if you want someone to cheer for, you know the guy. I know Edward Teach is coming from Age of Empires 2. So, yeah. Thank you.
This is the match for him then. But ladies
we've got Sue there.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we will be starting in just a moment. It looks like the matchup will be British versus the Sioux. And by popular demand, says Goon, he will play the Sioux. So expect to see a lot of raiding and expect to see a lot of cavalry of all sorts of different types. The Sioux, definitely a cavalry civilization, one might say.
And Goon saying Sioux by popular demand.
Yes.
Interesting. So what rank am I now, asks Riot Coke. I am PR20.
Yeah, you're doing well. You're doing
climbing that ladder.
Yeah, he's been playing a bunch of team games and is climbing the ladder.
1-2, lost 1 last night. Getting there.
That's good.
Yeah, it's not too
You had
bad.
time to play 2 games. I actually went home and rewatched the Best of 9 show match. That's what I did with my evening. I just wanted, and I really like to do that because I want to keep an eye on my casting and read the chat and things like that. And I think it's actually quite helpful. But either way, I enjoyed it. But let's get into this. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to game number 2 in a best of 5 series between Goon and Adurda School. Despite the heavy bets being placed on the Goon, it seems that Adurda School coming out ahead in that previous game. He has picked first because he won the previous game. He elected to play British, as you can see, and to counter that, so to speak, Goon gets to pick afterwards, so we call it the counter pick, is going to go with the Sioux. And it seems like the Sioux actually quite a strong civilization on the current patch at the moment. But those are the matchups, or is the matchup, I should say, and the map will be Florida. Ladies and gentlemen, spawning on Florida, in the top of the map, in the color blue, we do indeed have Goon. Here he is. You start with a market. Absolutely wonderful because it's Florida, of course, and the Sioux War Chief going to be absolutely brilliant on this map just to gather up all of those sheep that do spawn dotted around. So going to have a fast-moving explorer. That's going to be really handy. And the British, they only have the one explorer here, so could be a little bit vulnerable to a fast-moving Sioux War Chief. Might be forced back to his base and kept in here. We'll see how it pans out. But here is the British in the south of the map. Going to be a coin start, and with that, hunting dog's going to be quite easy to get there. So, going to be quite pleased.
And obviously, last game we saw Goon coming ahead in the early treasuring, and obviously, like you say, with the extra treasuring potential here, he may do exactly the same. Unfortunately for Goon, that early treasuring didn't sort of lead him to an early victory, so he'll be looking to improve on that in game 2. But the betting has now been opened, and it looks like the bets are sort of favouring Ed in this one after his performance in the first game. I think Goon had a lot of hype and he didn't quite live up to it yet, but let's see if he can steal this treasure. He is in the area, and that's 105 coin if he can take down that alligator there.
Yeah, he's just going to let it reset by the looks of it, and then walk towards the treasure just so he can perhaps contest it. That is, of course, if he's seen the Sioux War Chief here. So he's going to sort of come, he's going to crack shot his opponent's treasure guardian that was converted. Give him, it's always nice to do that, and it looks like Blue did just get in there a little bit first, and it does pick up the 105 coin.
Man, that's got a sting for Ed, to be honest. I mean, you're putting in all that work, and you get absolutely nothing in the end. It's kind of like one of our best of 9 show matches on a Sunday afternoon.
But
you play a best of 9, you finish 4 points to 5 and you get nothing.
You play all day and then
your opponent walks away with 100 coin. It's not fair, is it?
Yeah, I see what you're saying. That is kind of funny. But he's still got all of his HP, and there's still lots of other treasures on the map. And here, he's found 75 wood, and this one, it should be quite easy to pick up. His opponent's sort of up in the top there. And don't forget, he got to use his crack shot, which will be very close to recharging now to kill one of the enemy treasure guardians. Got to keep that Sioux in check. Don't let them spawn too many treasure guardians by sort of converting them. Outlaw, this is a really solid one. 30 ranged attack.
Wow, that's impressive.
And a musketeer, just for reference, has 15 and 150 hit points. This is like a free.
This is strong.
It's a strong unit just to get for free.
Souped up musket.
And that's why sort of crack shotting them is kind of good. So, but does get a 75 wood there, and that's going to be really nice as the British.
So what I expect to see then here is Ed actually keeping his explorer close with his army most of the time, and maybe just crack shotting those treasure guardians when he sees them.
Yeah, whenever you can crack shot your enemy treasure guardian, if they've got a really strong unit, that's going to be something you'll want to do. And sort of in the later portion of the game, once these treasures are used up, you're going to have lots of time to use a crack shot anyway, because the crack shot's only sort of useful early on. But let's switch on over to shipments sent here. We should see those 3 villagers come in any second now. Gungun and Adurdaskul right on point there. Let's take a look at their decks just before they age up. Gungun now got all of that food in queue. It looks like he has just clicked the age up button. Let's take a quick peek at what he's going up with the chief. So going to get 400 wood, not using his messenger politician just yet, and his opponent, the governor, so going to go up with 200 coin and an outpost wagon. Now Vil switching over to wood there, going to get Gangsaw in queue, so they're a bit more efficient, and gather the wood he needs for a barracks, and of course a couple of extra manor houses. Always want to sneak in a few of those as British, but here's the British deck here. Has got water potential.
Ooh, yes.
2 caravels, a frigate, and improved warship as he's gone for schooner, so we could see some sort of solid water boom from him. This is never, it doesn't often, you can put it in the deck and just not use it. It's just something your opponent will be sort of wary of, and the Sioux will have to check at some point the coastline just to make sure there are no docks, just to make sure everything is
Should we
going
have a quick
fine.
Look at the Sioux actually and just see what's in their deck at this point?
Yeah, we can.
Yeah. All right, look at that.
3 privateers will be delivered with that one. Costs
Not
500.
as much water potential, though, is it, really? It's more of just, all right, if I see my opponents on water, I'll send the privateers, clean it up.
Yeah.
But my focus here is going to be on the land.
Yeah, like he can deal with fishing ships. But by the way, privateers are they're much better than caravels. So, and this is usually shipments that cost resources to send, like these, are actually really strong. So don't count this out. This could keep up with a frigate shipment easily, right? This could destroy a frigate shipment. So this could well be sent in the Fortress Age as well. But yeah, very much a land deck there, and is something, and even some industrial age cards as well, just in case the game sort of goes all the way. But let's take a look. Gungun is now, in fact, both players now up pretty much at the same time here. 400 wood on the floor, and we'll see what he elects to do with that wood. Usually a stable, right, from the Sioux. We will see.
What did Eddie actually age up with here? Was it? Oh, it was the outpost and gold. Okay.
Yeah, going to go with an in-base outpost there. I kind of like this just in case the hunts sort of stray too far from, if they come out this way, an accidental misheard, they can be right here. But also it's close enough to the coin mine that any villagers gathering there can hop inside as well. The barrack's going to come down from the and he's macroing by the looks of it for musketeers.
And typically in this matchup, we as the British, you'd probably want to sort of play a bit more at home, wouldn't you? I think you're expecting the Sioux to, well, they could do something all-out aggressive. They could just sort of rock up and...
Yeah. Generally, the style of Sioux is that they just sort of raid a lot, and they don't get hunting dogs. They do get hunting dogs, but what they don't get is steel traps. No. So they're going to have less of an economy, because that 20% gathering is really strong. Although they do have TPs, but eventually they'll hunt the resources nearby. These won't be giving them an economic boost. Basically, what I'm explaining is that British are going to have a much stronger economy. So what he needs to do is just play, on point, have his herds right underneath the town centre, a couple of pikes coming out to defend against raids. These might be heading towards this outpost to help out the explorer sort of siege it down in this early portion. And you can see, like, placing these manor houses just out all around the map, and this is just going to give him a ring of vision to see any incoming raids. So his style is very much going to be play at home, make sure that my villagers got their upgrades, and just defend them. Don't let them die, and I know that if I don't lose too many villagers, or even any villagers, I will have a really, really solid boom, and I'll get ahead of the Sioux that way. But here, going to have no trouble escaping. The Sioux Warchief does have that speed aura. Any unit nearby goes faster, but it is going to be a problem for the outpost.
Yeah. I mean,
Sorry, trading post. I'm doing what you
You're doing
call
what
it.
I do.
Yeah.
And I mean, obviously, Goon has no way to engage that, right? Like, he's threatening to engage it, but I don't know why Ed's going back here. He's got a bunch of pikes. He should be able to kill that, right?
The snare is basically irrelevant because they move so quickly. So he
Okay.
can just sort of run in and then
he
make the
can
pikes
just-
stop sieging because they
Gotcha.
do have like a setup animation to siege. And then, like, if he doesn't notice, he will just engage them and fight. So he's sort of forced Durdaskull to retreat there. He's not going to be able to kill that. But yeah, that's one of the Sue's kind of benefits. Lots of Axe Riders coming out though, so Goon are clearly looking to do some raiding here, and let's see how successful
They're
this is.
like the
Lots
Huns.
of lots of pikes.
Lots and lots of pikes, actually. That's the second barracks from Ed there. And he sent 600 wood instead of the villagers as well as his third shipment there. So getting down more manor houses, no doubt, and getting that bank for those pikes as well, I imagine.
Yeah, he's making a lot of pikes, which is a little bit interesting. I would expect to see some other kind of unit as well. Musketeer's going to come out. Can he pick up a
those
vill?
vills, though.
Does get the
That's
one villager kill. And that's the thing about the Sioux, isn't it? They're just so fast and aggressive here.
Yeah, it's nice. I mean, that speed aura is really good, and obviously just sort of being able to hit and run. At this point, he's baiting those pikes to go to the north, and he could run around and come in with a raid on the right side at the same time, potentially.
Yeah,
if he had another group coming out.
I mean, he could even split off some of these Cav, right? He's currently keeping them all in one group just to make sure they've all got the speed bonus. But yeah, he could split off some Cav into a couple of different groups and sort of raid simultaneous positions. But I think the red player very prepared to see anything coming. He's like actively built like a very big ring of line of sight, so he is alerted to any kind of raiding. Going for a treasure up in the north here. He's going to be able to pick that up.
Oh, but he lost his chief.
No, he hasn't picked it up. That treasure's still there.
Oh, damn.
It died before the treasure could be...
damn.
So it looks
That's
like red,
unfortunate.
yeah.
What was
you
that
can,
treasure,
it's
actually?
a villager. It's a free
okay.
villager.
Well,
A trapped settler who may join the rest of the...
that'll make up for the one that got sniped earlier then.
Yeah, but I think, he was... That's not idea. He thought, right, I'll use my superior army. It's not doing anything at the moment. I might as well just get this economic bonus here. And it sort of gets denied there. So red going to pick that up. Now coming back in, but all of the pikes and musks not in the base to defend here. Oh, longbowmers!
They're going to get caught.
They're going to get absolutely mullered, I think is the technical term.
Mullered.
Yeah, they need to be with the pikes, right? But and all these vills being forced into the TC, but at least they're safe.
That's true. I don't think he lost any villagers in that raid. He obviously did lose his first batch of longbows, so that was unfortunate. But obviously, he's still got the pikes, and I guess the main drawback here for Ed is that they're so slow. He's sort of playing Goon's game. Goon is pushing him around, and Ed's just sort of reacting and trying to play catch up.
So this is the second Vill kill, but if you count the treasure, it's only sort of one Vill kill. So I think British okay at this point. He doesn't really want to be losing any more though. That is sort of the Sue's eco bonus, so to speak. The fact that they're very good at raiding.
Yeah, he sent the cavalry defense, cavalry attack upgrades as well. So those axe riders there, pretty strong. And, 40 hand attack, that's not bad, is it?
Yeah, these are basically veteran axe riders, and he's not in the Fortress Age, right? So just incredibly powerful units here. But,
and here we go. We've got muskets out as well. A lot of anti-cav approach from Eddie, and well, that's going to be a fight there. Goon's going for it. The pikes looking pretty strong as well, though. That's got to go well for Ed, surely.
Yeah, but the pikes are all over on this side at the moment here, so just going to clean up those musks. But yeah, I mean, veteran cav strong, but they are pikemen, so awkward. Is maybe not the best fight for Goon. I saw it was tempting, just take down the musks, which are still very strong against cav, but not obviously as good as pikes. Maybe take down a few of them, but does end up losing quite a few units there.
Yeah, I can't see how that possibly went well for Goon there, as he
did
sends
not go well.
15 bison now, and there they are under the TC. We've got schooners out for Ed as well, so he's on the water. He's going to be on the water, and I think Goon's probably lost too many axe riders to really be able to do much raiding now either. I think Eddie could probably quite easily defend with a small group of musk at home and then send the rest forward.
Yeah, he hasn't got too much done, so to speak, has he? And he's only managed to really kill one villager, and as a result, you can see British, they get those manors that spawn the villagers very far ahead economically now, and that's going to grow even further with the dock that you mentioned, and Schooner's going to give him sort of cheaper, faster training fishing boats. But yeah.
So why does Goon continue to commit to cav here? Why not? switch into something that can deal with these musks or deal with these pikes, for instance.
Well, he's sort of very committed to Colonia with the card choices he made. These two upgrades. I'd like to have seen, if he wanted to go do something a bit different, which, the Sioux certainly can do, would be something like 700 coin and then get up to the Fortress Age. Remember, you don't need any houses. The Sioux literally are the Huns. They're fully, they got fully all of, but does pick up 3, so this is quite nice. He's getting a little bit further back
At what cost? He's going to get snared?
No,
so close.
Sioux War Chief, he can escape that.
I thought he was going to get caught there.
Yeah, well, normally, in normal circumstances, yes, but this is just silly, right?
So
They're just so fast,
sure.
they can run. A little bit of damage, but he is kind of going to be staying colonial, sending 15 bisons just to keep the food income up, just keep the cavalry up. They're really, upgraded cav, and he's hoping that he can, and it's still possible, right? There's a lot of vills in the back here, although, but Ed being very, very vigilant. He's bringing all the vills back exactly when he needs to, and he's being careful not to lose any. But if Gungun can pick up a big raid, he can even this out.
That's true. There's a 10 villager difference, but right now Ed's just sort of rocking up. He's like, well, you're in my base. I'm going to go to yours, and I know that you can't fight my army. Ed knows that Gungun cannot fight this army with what he has out right now. So he's just going to go siege that TC and be almost completely unafraid, I suppose. But we do have some bowmen out. There you go. That's important, I think. Something to actually deal with these musks at some point.
Shipment of 6 Tambo and also a few more Axe Riders at home. Coming in now. Looks like he's just going to fully engage on top of this. Yeah, coming in. I mean, and he's going to get Vil Bash down the... no, they're soaking. I don't know. But this looks tough, right? Pikemen really, really solid against cavalry.
But I think this should be Gungun's now, right? To clean this up. But
he's getting his... No, the villagers are getting involved. They have quite a respectable 13 hand attack with the upgrade. So that they're actually quite strong when they're doing damage. And this town centre dealing damage as well. It's got villagers inside it. He's going to be able to clean this up, but not necessarily... And remember, these cav are fully upgraded. They got both the cards. Not necessarily the most cost-effective trade, but he's going to be able to deal with those muskets there.
Right, and I guess now the thing that he needs to do now is go and equalize that villager count because he's taken out that big mass of units.
But Ed, I think
so hard.
You're right. Ed is fine though. Look at him. He's got 57 villagers compared to 31. Schooners has resulted in a ton. So it's okay for him to trade off all those units here and just make sure, by doing that, he brings all his units to his opponent's base, makes all the cav come home to defend. He just trades them all off and now knows his villagers are sort of relatively safe because he's killed all of the cavalry. So British doesn't really have to be afraid. There are a couple of cav left, but these pikes are going to fend them off. And I think Erdeskul in a really solid position. It's going to be so hard to raid with such few numbers of cav and just with all this line of sight and just a big pike mass, and British just getting further and further ahead. You can see how far ahead he is in terms of the villages, and the docks just is the nail in the coffin there.
What age is the privateer card?
It is an age 2 card, so he can ship it.
Okay, so ship it now, Gungun. Now is the time. Does he know that there are docks down? I mean, I
don't think he's...
may have not have scouted that shoreline.
I don't think he's scouted them, so he doesn't necessarily know that there are docks. But he is going up to the Fortress Age, so I think... privateers definitely something he could send, but equally I think 9 Wakina could be a fine choice as well, and that's going to be really strong against all of this infantry.
Against the pikes, he should have no problem, but the issue is then, I guess... Well, actually, Ed's still in the colonial age. He's not aged up yet, so this could be an opportunity for Gungun here as he comes back in to siege this TC.
Yeah, but
he's got to get that shipment sent, though.
Yeah, it takes sort of 30 seconds. Well, okay. I think it'll arrive in time. The trouble is 8 skirms. Well, as you know, there's a lot of pikes there and a few more coming in. If it arrives, this town centre's going down either way, even if it arrives.
That is true. Is this where Gungun just loses the game?
Does it come?
Now?
Are we going to see 8, 9 Wakina? Is it going to come out? He really needs it to arrive, otherwise this is going to pretty much be over.
We did get it! And that's game, surely. Or are those Wakina going to go somewhere else?
No, they're cancelled. There's no others. He hasn't got a second spawn point.
Oh, no, he didn't have War Hut.
If he had a War Hut, it would have spawned at the War Hut.
There you go. GG. Surely now for Gungun. Age 3, but at what cost?
He has trained 5 rifle riders, which are essentially skirmishers. And remember, these upgrades affect them. And these are doing 18 times 3 versus heavy infantry. They also do times 3 versus heavy cavalry. So they're actually a skirmisher and a dragoon combined, which is sort of one of the Sioux things. They are quite sort of... and they have an incredible rate of fire. So yes, he's lost his TC, but
Yeah.
he's got a few sort of very fast-moving units that.
Well,
can,
okay, it's not completely GG.
but it is looking very
It's
tough.
looking very grim.
It is, no TC. His opponent incredibly far ahead, taking
Yeah.
water control, and this is very, very difficult for the Gungun.
For the Gungun.
But British, as well. High just says he did lose like 30 pikes for a TC
true.
and a couple of.
He just sent 5 rifle riders as well. Part of me really wishes he'll send those privateers and just actually, catch the water. But at the moment, he doesn't necessarily know that's going on. But hey, those longbows,
Longbows really, really solid against
very
these.
good.
These are ranged cavalry, so they do take double damage. Times 2 versus light ranged cavalry. So the longbows are definitely the counter to the rifle rider here. But without a TC, I don't know. I'm favouring the British player here. And
How can you not? I mean, it's
Yeah.
74 eco to 32 at this point.
And-
It's twice the eco.
And he's going to go up to the Fortress Age
Exactly.
and match him there as well.
5 rifle axe riders coming through as well for Gungun there. And it's going to get harder and harder, I think, for him to take a solid fight now, especially once the British player starts to actually add some higher value units rather than just pikes.
Pike. Well, I think like
There
longbows
you
and
go.
musks will be a
More
solid.
musks coming out.
I think the time of pikes was just necessary to defend the raids because they're just such a big deterrent to cavalry. But now that he's got lots of different units, now that he's got a bigger economy, he can have a lot more units. Switching into I think longbowmen and musketeer is going to be able to handle this.
Yeah, and that should be pretty decisive for Eddie if Gungun continues to fight there, I believe. The Hussar on the right side as well coming through, and I don't know what the Hussar are particularly strong against in this case.
Not a lot actually, but they
No.
are going to keep their. They do. Yeah, whatever.
They're okay. We've got more reinforcements coming out, more pike actually. He's just going to send the pikes in.
Yeah, he does need a few just to defend against the
Get
axe
them in
riders.
front, yeah. But that's still pretty good for Eddie once again. And Gungun now is surely running out of steam at this point.
Yeah.
He does have another shipment though, and he's got more rifle riders on the way over. But again, like I say, the issue really being here that he just doesn't have the economy.
Yeah, and then I think he scouts the
Yeah.
docks and he realizes, oh shit, actually, pardon me, he is on the water, and that's going to be. He sees the water and says GG. Yeah, or actually, he says HH, but that's BB. Yeah, we can say BB.
Maybe he's Hun, not Gungun. But what's his? Can you see his point of view at the end, or does it not work if you go to his POV?
It's combined POV.
Ah, okay.
The line of sight, anyway. Yeah.
Right, gotcha. Because I was just wondering if we'd see perhaps the line of sight he had if you saw how many fish there were there. But there you have it. GG.
Well, I think
called.
he'll see a dock and a caravel and a few fishing ships,
And he'll know.
and he'll know. Yeah, there's probably a lot of fish here.
You know, it's crazy to me because in Age of Empires 2, if there is water, you go water.
Yeah.
Like, there is so few instances where you don't go water in Age 2. Whereas in Age 3, it does seem like it's something that's more of an investment that pays off later. Whereas in Age 2, if you go water, it's like the 4 fishing ship you make in the Dark Age, they sort of pay for themselves by the time you reach feudal.
Yeah, in Age of Empires 3, it's a little bit different. You don't necessarily have to go with water, right? Fishing ships are just really, really expensive, and they take a long time to pay off simply because wood just takes so long to gather. It's more of something you'll do sort of a bit later on, or if you want to do it early, or make sort of some... But I kind of think that's an interesting way to go about it. It's not something you have to do. It's like this sort of water option.
I like that, though. I think it gives it more of a... I don't know, it's more of a rock, paper, scissors approach, isn't it? You don't go for an investment onto water, so therefore, in theory, you should be able to make a bigger investment on land. I do enjoy that about H3. I think, though, obviously, if water goes unchecked for long enough, it's going to bring you enough of an advantage that you're never coming back from.
Yeah, the water... it would have been nice to see the privateers from him, but let's go back to the Civ selection screen, only because I'm not sure what map is next and the players need to know.
Civ selection, it's Kamchatka next.
Kamchatka. Oh, yes, that's right. I saw the overlay. That's a good way to... Okay. Kamchatka, I've written in the...
Kamchatka.
That's right.
Yes, Kamchatka, lovely map. And we'll see the first pick this time will be... is it Gungun's first pick now?
No, the winner always picks first. So Adurda School.
Sorry, it's Ed still.
Eddie
right, my
will
bad.
pick first here. He cannot play as the British, as he just won with them, and he cannot play as the Germans, I believe, as he has also won with them as well. So this is match point. It's a best of 5. If he takes this victory, he wins the series and progresses through to the next round, and Gungun will be knocked down into the lower brackets. Where he can still have a chance to qualify, but going to be a much more difficult path through the tournament. But let's see what Eddie picks. It is Kamchatka. I'm not familiar with this guy's Civ pool, so it's hard to guess, but we don't need to, because
We've
yes,
seen
he's gone.
Japan a few times on this map, actually. It seems like a popular choice for Kamchatka. I don't know why, but it seems like this is sort of a recurring theme. Japanese on Kamchatka.
Yeah, we've seen a bit of Japan on Baja California as well in some of the show matches. I think Japan generally sort of prefer sort of bigger maps, and that way they can spread out their shrines a bit more, and that way the shrines are a bit further apart and just spread all over the map, and it's kind of harder for your opponent to siege them all down as they have to travel further and further to get to them all. But Japan going to come out either way. And we'll see how Gungun elects to respond to that. He could well just lock in the Su again, which...
What do you think fares well against the Japanese? Oh, it's going to be a mirror by the looks of it.
Okay, Gungun, I think this is a matchup
Awesome.
he's probably quite familiar with and is hoping to. Remember, Gungun, a very solid player, used to be a top player, so probably thinks he can just out-mechanic him, maybe.
Yeah,
maybe
right.
we'll see if that's the case.
I was going to bring that up. I mean, at this point, it's been non-mirror matchups for the first 2 games. And I think maybe he's thinking, you know what, let's just see who's really better. Like, if I'm the better player, I will win this game. And if I don't win this game, well, I'm not going to win the series anyway. So let's go back to the Civ screen. It's Japanese mirror, and we'll introduce the next game.
That's absolutely right. Ladies and gentlemen, this is game number 3, possibly match point for Adurda School, aka Eddie, I've been calling him. It will be a Japanese mirror. So let's see if he can take this victory and therefore the series. It's now all on Gungun. This will be his, and I would usually say end of his tournament life, but as we know, there is a lower bracket. But potential for a reverse sweep. I've never casted one, and I would like to. So maybe Gungun can come back from this position. We will see. It is a Japan mirror, so it's something he is confident with. But spawning in the bottom of the map, in the color blue, we do have Adurda School playing as a Japan here. The monks, by the looks of it, going to head north towards the center of the map where the 2 goats spawn. Oh, and an 85 wood treasure that they will be having a contention over. I expect the Gungun monks on the way as well. Who's going to get to the goats first? I think Blue was sending his monks. I think Blue was on point a little bit earlier, sent his monks, and does get that reward for doing so. Here, you always need to get there nice and quickly. I'd like to have seen one monk come through this passage and perhaps the other monk through this passage, and that way you sort of, and the same for his opponent, that way you sort of spread the monks and are more likely to get some goats. But that is the case both here, and does get these 2 monks. Going to pick himself up 30 coin there, but yes, going to escort these back and is going to build a shrine and place them whilst the other monk actually sort of places the shrine there. But yes, his opponent, Gungun, in the north of the map, in the colour red, here he is laying down an early consulate.
Yeah, and would you look at the bets? Still, they're still backing the Goon here.
The Goon.
They're just so... I feel like this guy's a bit like Doubt from the Age of Empires 2 community, No matter what the situation is, you always bet on Doubt. Even if, it's completely unreasonable to do so. Well, it might not be completely unreasonable to bet on Gungun.
I think Well High is, or aka the Gibsonator. Gibson is very, very confident, actually, that Gungun will win this. He's saying he'll take a bath in orange juice and stream it. I'd like to see that. Gungun's... Gibson's stream is an interesting stream, so maybe we'll see an orange juice stream. I'm rooting for Eddie now, but yeah, I think Gungun probably going to be fine in this matchup. Japan mirror is something he's probably very confident with.
Yeah, I've not actually seen a Japanese mirror yet. I'm still very new to the game, new to casting the game.
You have? You saw one. It was Garja versus Soldier on Dekken.
Oh,
mind you, that was not...
I do remember that.
That wasn't the most exemplary Japan mirror. Soldier did something a bit unorthodox, but a Japan mirror nonetheless.
All right. So, what are we expecting from these players? Do you think they'll play a similar style? Do you think we'll see some deviation with the first age up building?
I'm expecting to see Heavenly Kami from both of them. Looks like, yes, that's in his deck for Gungun. Let's take a look at Eddie as well. Also has it there, but has the option of 300 wood as well. So actually, we may see either of them. And 2 villages. So three different options. But Heavenly Kami is sort of the normal thing to see because it reduces the cost of shrines. It makes them more efficient. Okay, this is 300 wood going to come out instead. And actually, we're going to see Gungun go with the 2 villages. So Japan doesn't have a 3 villager shipment, which is... Yeah, but they do have a 3 fishing boat shipment. We've seen that in the past. But this is not a water map, so you can't be sending that. But I sort of like the 300 wood here. Because it's a Japan mirror, the amount of space to build your shrines is going to be much less than usual, right? Because, again, normally when you play Japan, you have all of these hunt spots where you can build your shrines on. But if you're both playing Japan, you're both going to be using them up, and they get sort of used up very quickly. But... So if you send Heavenly Kami, you're not going to be able to get that shrine bonus as much because there's sort of less spots, perhaps. So 300 wood is sort of going to get a few extra shrines early on, but it's not like super all in on the shrines, I suppose. You know, like if that sort of makes sense. 2 villages from Gungun, though, means probably that he's looking to be perhaps a bit more aggressive, have slightly more early economy. I don't know. He's still gone with the Portuguese consulate, and that's going to give him a cheaper buildings in general, including this age-up wonder. So,
Yeah, that is interesting. Obviously, a deviation in the strat for both players. So it's a mirror match, but definitely not a mirror strat, which is something I personally am a big fan of seeing because it shows that the civilizations, even in a mirror, don't have to be one-dimensional at all. That's quite exciting to me.
Yeah, I don't know I don't know what the standard is for the Japan mirror. I'd have expected to see Heavenly Kami anyway, but 300 wood is just fine for the boom. 2 vils just seems like it isn't quite as good as the alternatives, but that's what
you
Gungun
say
has.
that, but he is up in villager count now while they're aging. So if you look at the resources in the bank, Gungun should, in theory, be ahead, I guess.
But when this shrine gets constructed, that's going to jump up 21 there. Oh, so yes, he is even further ahead, just to prove your point, I suppose. We'll see how it goes. Looks like, though, Consulate now going to come down from Eddie. Going to be building that there. That'll make his shrines cheaper. Well, once he gets the Portuguese allied. And here, Barracks now coming down from Gungun. Let's take a look. What was their age-up times? So, text complete.
Pretty much identical for what it's worth.
Yeah.
Yeah, what was that other tech there done? We saw the...
they're just market text. So if you click on the... Oh, was it?
I think it was Ed's. It was Ed's.
Oh, yeah, the water wheel.
Yeah, and the baskets.
Yeah, for berry gathering.
Yeah. All right, that's interesting. So it looks like... Man, I love just seeing this. I love just sort of dissecting it. We've got more wood coming in for Ed. It's another shipment. And we got more villagers for Gungun. And I feel like Gungun's villager approach, that's going to compound more over time. Whereas the 600 wood, 300 wood, although you can repeat them, sure, like it's kind of like blowing your load all at once. You get the big burst of wood, but then you don't get anything to follow it up with.
Yeah, I think the interesting thing is he's gone with the Japanese consulate. So normally you see Portuguese just because it makes buildings cheaper, including the shrines, which are necessary for booming and getting that up, which is what we're seeing from Gungun. And Gungun doing, I think, is actually in a solid position right now. And as you said, definitely has more potential in the long game. But this is, to me, signaling the benefit of this is that his military units are going to have more stats, so he's looking to be a bit stronger there, and perhaps will train some of the Japanese consulate units as well. So he's clearly looking to do something a little bit earlier on. Okay, Yumi Archer coming in, doesn't take any vils though. He's going to shoot at the villager, and now he's going to leave.
Poof! The explorer is gone.
Bang, and the dirt is gone.
So what do we got there? We got Yamabushi coming out.
Yeah, Yamabushi. These are going to be they're basically very high siege, right? 40 siege and very strong against pikemen as well. Basically a pikeman, and could contest some of the shrines. So that's pretty strong. But Gungun, he's got quite a few Yumi Archer. Right? We saw 3 as his explorer in there as well, plus another 5. So these, as long as they're going to be able to fend off these and keep his shrines up and running. But Ashy Musketeer is going to go to the other side. Maybe he can't be everywhere.
Yeah, I feel like the Yumi Archer should perform well here, though, right? Against both the Ashigari, or whatever they're called, Musketeers, and the Pikeman-style guys over here. You have to excuse me, knowing the names of the units is not something I am very good at this point in
that's
time.
Fair. Look, Yumi Archers here, though, and the Besterios that you get from the Portuguese consulate, they're upgraded.
Oh, he's going to head them off.
Yeah, he's going to chase down this way, perhaps get shot in here. But he is going to ultimately sort of retreat away. But this shrine is well defended. However, up in the top, we do have these Ashigaru walking in for perhaps a raid on the base here. No villagers on the mine, but quite close to that chariot, which does see them. I'm going to go straight into the town centre and start doing damage. As these walk through, they're going to be taking shots. You can see it does...
And sentries.
2 shots to kill each one. Yes, sentry and irregulars coming as well. So just going to chase them down, trying to get the snare here and just deal with these units. Lots of red units here. I think Gungun really, you mentioned... Well, he's sort of... With that 600 wood and the 2... he sent 4 villagers twice in a row. Has sort of caught up in terms of economy.
He has. I mean, it could have been worse if he didn't send the villagers, I guess. But Gungun's military right now, he's 20 ahead. And it looks like he's going to try and wrap around on these musketeers. I mean, he's doing a good job of cleaning them up as well with the sentries and the irregulars. Yeah. So coming around now, it looks like he's actually going for a push toward Ed's base, and we'll see if he can actually do anything there. He's massively outnumbering him at the moment, and he is ahead economically as well. Looking quite good for Gungun right now. We'll see what he can do with this army.
Yeah, there's a lot of early economy for Gungun, but a lot of that population is going to be these 1 HP irregulars as well, so it's a little bit inflated. Is trying to push in and do some damage, but these are not siege units, and they're also, so they're not going to be able to do much damage to buildings, but they're also quite weak to cavalry. They're all archers, so he really doesn't want to be standing here for very long, because he doesn't know, he hasn't got the intel on whether or not there could potentially be sort of a stable sort of hidden in the back somewhere. He's actually now going to build one since he sees so many archers, needs to start adding in the Naginata to deal with them. He's actually going to be the military rickshaw that you get from the consulates, so that's coming down. But yeah, that's why they didn't stay too long, right? They were a bit worried about some cav that might pop.
You don't want to throw that lead away for nothing, and I guess if Gungun can get some anti-cav in his mix, maybe he can add some musketeers as well, then that would be pretty good. But at the moment, he's not seen anything. He's not really done any damage to the economy of Ed.
But I think he was just sort of coming in, seeing if there was any units there. Nothing really poked at him. It was just TC fire. And then sort of behind this thinks, okay, I might as well just age up. And that's another way to get a solid advantage. He can get those upgrades. He'll have access to flaming arrows and is going to be going up to the next age with
aging up with
the Golden Pavilion, which is going to give him some unit stats.
It's not the Statue of Victory.
No. or the Tower of Defeat, I think we ended up calling it.
the Tower of Defeat, as we ended up calling it. Obviously, different sip, but you know what I mean. But anyway, going to catch Eddie here again, and this is going to be pretty nice. He split his units up very nicely, and Gungun looks to be in completely different form this game. Certainly ahead at the moment, and once Age 3 comes in, we should see a power spike. He's also sent, is that Musketeer attack upgrade?
Yeah, that is Yumi Archer
attack upgrade. Brilliant. And
it's a bit misleading with those 2 cross muskets, isn't it?
A little bit. That doesn't look like a bow to me.
No, it's a sword and 2 muskets, which is, But thankfully, these units, they are quite fast moving. They've got a 0.5 extra speed, so going to be able to outpace these.
But he keeps heading them off every time.
Yeah, it looks like a new batch came out, and he's going to bring them here. Just going to try and trade them off for villagers by the looks of it.
Oh, he traded his whole army for 1 villager, though, and he's so outnumbered here.
Yeah, I think he just got caught out, right? And is sort of, and Gungun showing us that actually, well,
very good control by him.
Maybe Eddie shouldn't have been in that place is probably the more relevant thing to say. But yeah,
probably.
Here comes some cavalry, though. These will actually catch these out of position, so that's nice. Going to get a nice pick there.
But it's not very an expensive price to pay to know that, okay, yeah, there are some Naganatas out now. And now I'm aware of that. I'll be careful when I push out next time.
Yeah, and he's up to the right. He's got a disciplined. Okay, so he's sending. By the way, okay, so Eddie's sending 2 cherry orchards. These are about to run out. So it looks like we're going to add in a couple more by shipping them. And he's going to follow him up to the next stage as well with the same wonder. Imperial bureaucracy now coming in, so that's a market upgrade. It's basically eco theory. It's very strong.
Cool. So. Are we going to see some flaming arrows at any point in this game? I'd like to see that. Yeah. I love the unit.
I expect so. They are definitely very good against the infantry. And there's a 2 flaming arrow shipment, so you'll always be able to send those. Actually, though,
Whoa, here we
Goon
go.
just going to drop the Industrial Age pretty much as soon as he's up. Going to drop down the Shogunate, which allows him to train dead any... what are they called? The daimios. If they die, he can replace them there.
So this is really quite surprising, really. I mean, he's aging up pretty much at the same time as Ed is, but he's going up to the Industrial Age. Now, what's he going to do when he gets to the Industrial Age? What cards does he have in his deck now? Industrial Age cards that we could see.
So remember, you can send these twice, right? So 4 flaming arrows he's got 8 flaming arrows. He's got, this is a very efficient shipment. 16 Yumi archers is absolutely incredible, and also Shogun Tokugawa, who is a very, very big sort of improvement to your unit, so to speak. And also, he's just a big tanky unit that can do sort of a ton of damage as well. He's a big old cavalry dude. But
And Gungun isn't getting punished for this at all. I mean, both of them are kind of sitting back right now and sort of happily letting this happen. And do you think Ed is going to be surprised when he sees this Fortress Age, not Fortress Age, sorry.
I
You know
think
what I'm trying to say.
the Industrial Age,
Industrial Age coming in.
Potentially, but I think he has intentions of just dropping down the Industrial Age as well. He's got nearly all the food. You need 2,000 food and 1,200 gold to drop the Industrial Age. So I think they're both going to do that. Japan really likes to be in the Industrial Age, get those guard upgrades in. And you have access to some really strong shipments as well. Once you start getting these daimios out, that's also very nice. Let's take a look at this. He's also got the same cards, but in addition, also Ashigaru Musketeer there.
It seems better for him in a sense here, but
He's got a few extra options, but I'm not necessarily sure he'd end up sending it. I think he'll end up sending flaming arrows, so it's not overly helpful. But I think the trouble is, though, he's sort of aging up now, right?
the push is happening now as
and,
well.
And yeah, like he's now coming across the map.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, he's going to come straight in here, and obviously at the moment he's massively outnumbering
And here's Tokugawa.
Ed's army. And wow, here we go. So this should be a good push. Maybe if Ed can hold on, he'll get the flaming arrows out, and I think that will be quite effective against his army, right? Because it's kind of squishier units. It's not a lot of cavalry.
Sorry, which player?
Ed. Once he gets up,
once he
might
gets
get
up.
the shaming arrows.
The shaming arrows.
Well, there you go. For shame.
I think honestly this could just be GG right here. Going up, and he's just not got very many military. He could send the flaming arrows, but there's just so much stuff here, and
he hasn't got much to protect them.
He's got a few units here to defend them. Okay, four flaming arrows.
Oh, right there on the front lines.
Yeah, they arrive. They're going to arrive at Tokugawa. He's also a spawn point, which is interesting. I don't know where they're spawning from out of his bum, but they have arrived.
Flaming arrows out the crap. There you go.
Those projectiles. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the chat saying, why is he sieging buildings? Why not go for the kill? Well, I mean, killing the buildings is definitely sort of ensuring that long-term advantage, I guess.
Yeah, well, he's just take down the infrastructure, and he's not going to be able to train any units there. But yeah, these villages are all on the back. If he could just go in here and poke them, sort of make them go into the TC. They are now in. There's 8 there, but you can see he's doing this now, just sort of poking forward. Okay, now going to go back there. But yeah, not killing any villages means that this economy is still working away, and Eddie actually going to be able to train units, which could be which is exactly what Blue needs to stay in the game here. Okay, we've now got but Honored Yumi Archie, the guard upgrades, so to speak, is now in.
And the flaming arrows.
Flaming arrows, but there's 8 of these now.
Right, that can't be good.
He sent it twice, and 8 against 4. Well, we all know what happens there. Oh no! And the daimyo going down. Masasuma.
Ed's control there not looking good. He just lost 2 more flaming arrows as well. There's no way he can win that fight, and GG is called.
Yeah.
Honestly, a little bit underwhelming that game. I feel like not a lot really happened, and then right at the end, we just saw Gungun getting this massive sort of power spike from the Industrial Age, which he sort of just managed to pull out so much faster. And it's kind of hard to see exactly the point where he pulled ahead to get to the Industrial Age so much sooner. It looked like he produced more units all game.
Yeah,
but he was equally ahead in economy for most of the game as well.
It definitely looked like he was controlling the pace of the game, right? We saw in the beginning those sort of units coming out much sooner, and he was sort of he was dealing with the shrines, and like the Yambushi of the Blue player tried to kill some shrines, but Blue just had units out and said no. His boom was much sooner. If we take a look at sort of the villager count, perhaps it's not Yeah, Gungun was ahead on Vils and all resources gathered. He's actually behind
very close.
to begin with, but it was very close, actually.
I mean, I think that's just a case of optimization, really, more than anything.
But he was
I
still...
think Gungun played a probably more optimal game in general, and then the timing just worked out in his favor there.
Yeah, well, he got to the Fortress Age first, and then he got to the Industrial Age first, and then his push was just sort of, much... It was just... He was ready, right? He had all the units he wanted, and he got the flaming arrows out first, and was just sort of ahead. He had his upgrades in first, and he was just in pace, controlling the pace of the game, I suppose. But let's head on out into the next map. Up next, we do have Baja California, and the score is now 2-1. So Gungun picking up his first victory there. It was match point for Eddie, but this could be interesting. This could be shaping up to be...
For sure, yeah.
Quite an even series.
Yeah, I mean, it was nice to see Gungun actually winning that matchup. It sort of tells me that mechanically and sort of optimally he's playing.
I think that was... I don't know if it was necessarily a build order victory, so to speak, but I think Gungun just sort of had a better plan, right? And he got to the Fortress Age sooner, which was clearly his plan, and then he went up to the Industrial Age, where Japan is very strong, and... yeah, I think he just sort of has good game knowledge with Japan, and of course I'm sure he's played many Japan games. His mechanics going to be on point, but and as we saw, just came out ahead there. But next map, what did I say? Baja, no. It's the thing is that there we are, Baja California. The trouble, so I'm used to them being in a specific order, at least for our show matches, and that is the same order that we will use for the LAN portion of this New World Championships event. But for these qualifications, obviously there's 9 maps. We're not going to use all of them, so we sort of shuffle them around, and the map pool will be different, although the same for each player in each round.
Yep,
there'll just be a different order of those maps, of those same 9 maps. But here's the lobby. Gungun has to pick first. Looks like they're going to have a conversation in German, so we don't know what they're saying.
Hast du noch an der Axt?
What do you think he's saying?
Do you have more than one account?
Yeah, there we go.
I don't know. Are you smurfing?
Hast du?
No, I think they need to know the map. He says Deccan, I think. It's obviously Baja California next. I don't know any German, for the record. But obviously Gungun can't pick Japanese now.
No, he can't. I just want to know what they said. Someone in chat's German, for sure.
Do you have other accounts?
Yes, up next.
Is that what he actually asked? Okay.
Yeah, and you got it right.
Seems
nice.
good.
Yeah, there we go. Garja California is up next, and we say that because this is, in fact, I don't know if you realised this, but almost all of the ESOC maps were made by Garja.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I did not know that.
So this was, as a running joke, was Garja California for a long time. But
interesting. That's cool.
Okay, that is the next map. Gungun, as you said, does pick first because he won the previous game. Let's see what he elects to pick. So, can't play Japan anymore. Japan would be a really good civ on this map, actually. But I know Gungun, he's sort of been around for a long time and played a lot on vanilla. Yes, there we go. Russia coming out. This is a civ, actually, I do recall Gungun being very strong with. It's something he's played a lot. We'll always see a good Russia come out of Gungun. And I think, generally speaking, the European civs, something most of them he is familiar with, or at least very strong with, right? But Garja California is the map, and Russia has been selected. Interesting to note, for the New World Championships, Garja has actually rebalanced the Baja California. It's been slightly shrunk. It was always slightly bigger than it was supposed to be. Right. So this map is now is actually a bit smaller than we're used to, and I think there's there's one less deer in each herd or something like that.
Wow, that's balancing at a whole new level. One less deer in each herd. That's very specific change.
Well, you think there's I don't know, 10 herds or something. Who knows?
Yeah, right.
And then each deer has 400 food. It just reduces the number of overall food on the map. I don't know. Maybe that makes fishing more important. But yeah, let's see what Eddie goes with. He played Japan last time. Japan was his pick, by the way, so he picked Japan last time. He clearly wants to play Japan. It's something that he actively chose. And, we've seen Japan be a strong civ on Baja California. Even though it's shrunk, I still think they are going to be definitely solid here. And maybe he picks Japan again.
Potentially, yeah. I mean, why do you think Russia will be so strong here?
I don't know. I don't necessarily think it's because Russia is strong here. I just think it's that Gungun is, he's played a lot of Russia and is strong with Russia.
Okay,
that's just as much a factor in Age 3 because, 14 civilizations with all very different mechanics is... Mastering them all is tough. So often it's a case of, like, what civ can I play here that is also not terrible on this map? And if it's even good on this map, that's even better if it's good on the map, right? So that is the case.
Apparently ESO is down. Don't know if that affects. If ESO was down, wouldn't we be?
No, it's up.
No,
the
it's
refresh
fine.
list works.
Okay.
I think it might. Maybe it's just. I think it's up now.
Cool. So if ESO's down, we're still in the lobby, but he can't pick.
There's a few different like servers on ESO. There's like a friends list server. There's like a. Cheers.
Yeah. I think we can share the lobby anyway because I think Eduardo, sorry, I keep wanting to say Eduardo.
Eduardo.
After yesterday, when we had the game between.
It just seems like it would roll off the tongue, at least for me, to say.
But there you go, Portuguese for him.
Porto's coming in strong. I like this from Eddie. Port's a very strong naval civilization, and there is water. So maybe he'll exercise some of that here. And having two town centres...
legs on the pond.
Yeah, absolutely. Get some swimming done. I don't know what we're saying. But two town centres is also going to be quite effective at helping you defend against rushes and things like that. But Portuguese, they still need to watch out. They don't have any villager shipments. And maintaining production from two town centres without the villager shipments could be sort of quite expensive. And it's kind of hard to... you have to balance that. You have to,
if there's one less deer in each hunt...
yes.
potentially harder to get that reliable food income around the map without map control. So if you're playing a turtle style, that is almost punished a little bit by that change. But I don't know, do you think the Portuguese wants to turtle here, or what's their game plan?
Well, I think Ports is a really nice pick on Baja California simply because of the water, and there's some sort of natural land in your base that can be used to sort of make a wall. We saw Taben do that yesterday.
Yeah.
Although it's quite, I say that, but actually this map is quite open, at least on your side of the map. But then it becomes very closed at those mountain passes
in the middle, yeah,
right. And you can sort of wall them off. Might be a bit ambitious to do all that much walling so early on.
I'm interested by the chat. Wait a sec, it's water. Maybe I just need to quickly make a deck with some water stuff in it. Imagine if he now chooses an all-land deck and just sort of does some land play and completely throws them. You never know. Could be mind games going on here.
Are you ready?
I think on a water map, you'll always at least have two caravels and a frigate in your deck, even if you intend to play fully land, just because they do...
Time will tell. Let's see the civs then, and we'll introduce the map. Here we go.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to game number 4 in a best-of-5 series between Ederderskull and Gungun. This has been quite an interesting series. The score is currently 2-1, as you can see. Eddie winning the first 2 games and Gungun picking it back up in the third one as Japan. But we have loaded in, ladies and gentlemen, spawning on the right-hand side of the map. Actually, let's go over to the left. I want to talk about Gungun. So he's back in the series. He's got his first point on the board, although still match point for Eddie. If he wins here, then the blue player will be through to the next round. But I think Gungun is sort of more favoured by the chat, and the betting will tell you 100% on Gungun here to win this matchup. By the looks of it, are now changing a little bit, 17% there. We'll talk about that once the betting has closed. But... yes, Gungun back in it. Let's see what he can deliver today. Playing one of his stronger civilizations, the Russia. Let's switch on Control-Shift-F and see the scouting path. Going to ignore that 10 coin. Not even worth his time.
10 coin? Like, what are the other options? This one here, which is what?
20 coin. And
No. The one he's actually taking now.
Oh, the one he was sort of contesting this. Eddie was there at the same time.
2 stray sheep, and it was stolen from him. Maybe it would have been better with
No,
the 10 coin.
it wasn't stolen from him. He was trying to steal it from Eddie.
See.
But that's the benefit of ignoring these things, right? He actually did have a contention there. He could well have gotten the treasure and denied his opponent the 2 sheep. And these are in his base still. He can go back for them later. Although these coin treasures not very important. Only would be sort of useful if you're going for a market, which he's clearly not going to bother doing. Just going going to leave that
What
sort
are
of
they?
wood
Beavers?
on the floor.
Muskrats? What are they?
They are beavers. They're the pelts that you sell for the coin. I suppose.
Disgusting
I'm not
things.
really.
No one wants a beaver pelt. That's why they're worth so little.
Well, beaver coats and stuff, that's sort of why they're in the game, were actually incredibly valuable.
Yes,
and
yes.
like we're almost driven to extinction, the beaver or something like that, but when the Europeans sort of arrived. But
Well,
yeah,
there you
no
go. You're getting a
treasures.
history lesson as well, chat.
Yeah,
Here we
there you,
have it.
there you go. What that's why you should subscribe to the Escape AOE stream. Like incredibly, yeah. But he's not gotten any treasures so far except 30 coin here. But this is his first big pick, 95 wood. That's a really nice treasure. But to match it, Blue just now also finds quite a similar one. I imagine 2 bears as well. 80 wood there. Cottonwood is worth 80 apparently. But Zach, lodgepole pine is worth 95. So maybe the lodgepole pine. I'm not sure why that. But there you go.
I know where I'd be lodging my pole if I was Goon Goon. He's going to pick that one up, getting a big wood right there. 95, not bad at all. And, well, I mean, that's quite a lot of wood treasure for these guys. Let's have a look in base, see what they're going to be doing here. Obviously, everything on food right now, but no market down just yet.
Oh, look at this. He's eating the sheep. So there are sheep on the Baja California, and he's...
He got sheep from the
that's
treasure,
that's
didn't he?
right. Yeah, I was going to say there are not sheep on Barca. That's why I paused. There definitely are not sheep, and I was thinking, where did he get sheep from? And then you reminded me it was the treasure.
Magic.
But he's going to eat them just to get the age up in queue super early. And
Fast. Yeah,
and,
very
and I
nice.
really like that, especially
Schooners
versus is it? Oh baby, let's take a look here. Yeah, he's getting his age up in sooner. He's normally you'd want to eat the sheep later once they're fully fattened, but against Russia, a civ that can be very aggressive, he's wanting to be up sooner just to make sure everything is on time and that he can deal with any pressure in his base that is perhaps really early. But Russia, Goon Goon, here he is, going up with the 14 villager age up there. So you have that choice, as we've mentioned, 14 villages or 17 villages since they train in batches of 3, and this looks like he's intending to be perhaps a little bit more aggressive. Treasure contention there. Goon Goon, not sure who was going for that, but I think Red was going for it. Blue saw it, decided to not bother finishing the trading post, tried to get over to the coin, didn't get the coin, and is now going to miss the pass, Zach. I think that's going to be... No, Willie, I think he's going to get it in time. I'm not... It's hard to know, but...
Okay, well, it was close.
The only way we could have told...
I don't think he got it.
No, he didn't get
Judging
it.
by the reaction in chat, he definitely missed the pass there.
He missed the pass by the
Sucks
looks of it.
to be you.
But
Ed.
that, I think still trying to contest the 50 coin was an important thing to do. But it looks like they're Goon Goon now coming out across the map with a villager going to lay down a blockhouse. And I think that's as close as you can possibly build
truly
it
it is,
due to the
isn't it?
radius around the town centre.
And look at the Explorer from Ed as well. Where is it right now? It's down in the... Oh, there it is. I wonder if he's going to scout this. I mean, how important is scouting this forward?
Yeah, well, he's just finished
gotta
the
be.
he's just finished the trading post, and I think that is exactly on his mind. Like, where is the blockhouse? Is it in the middle of the map here?
Surely it's not that far forward.
Yeah, he's not seen
wait.
this just yet. But and you can see, Goon Goon also scouting the coast just to see if there's any docks down.
Oh,
which
and he's
is
going to see the...
He's not-
oh, wait, no,
the dock
there
is
isn't a dock.
on-
Oh,
it's-
wow, that's sneaky.
That's
That
on-
is sneaky.
it's on
I
this
love
side
this
here.
from Ed. This is fantastic. Actually sending the vills very far from home. And why would Goon Goon ever expect there to be a dock at the south of the map there? He just wouldn't, would he?
Yeah, he might that might be where this is going next.
Potentially.
But yeah, you'd expect
love
it
it.
for sure, right? To be on like your side of the map. Oh, and this
Oh, he
one
got one there
looks
too.
like that has
All
gone
right.
up there. I'm not sure if that was after the scout. It must have been. I think 2 vills on the food here. Probably built that quite quickly after the scout went by. So Goon Goon doesn't actually have intel on this.
This is... I think this is good for Goon Goon. I think this is good. The blockhouse has only just been scouted, fine, but that's 3 docks down for Ed, and obviously gearing up to make fishing ships right now.
Yeah.
Is Goon Goon going to be just so far ahead? There's the 5 Cossack shipment. There's the walls from Ed, and he's going to be a little bit caught out. Obviously, the Portuguese so able to turtle underneath these 2 town centres, but a lot of his TC or villagers, sorry, could be forced to go idle here.
Yeah,
as
and-
Goon Goon just marches straight in with no resistance at all.
And this is exactly what you need to do, right? If you suspect that they're going schooners, just come into the base and just make sure those vills go back inside the town centre and keep them all belled up. You can see the Cossacks coming down on top of this hunch, sort of denying that there, and
That's
just
a
being a
villager
real
kill.
nuisance. Yeah, that's definitely going to be a pickup. That's really nice. But equally, he saves
1
it.
HP and a dream. He gets into the TC. But it's so annoying, right? I mean, okay, you've got a couple of boats on the water, but the rest of your eco's idling right now. I do wonder, obviously the boats can only gather food and coin, If he needs more wood for something, like, I don't know, maybe a barracks, he might struggle to get that if his villagers are forced to go idle.
Yeah, but he can call 2 sets of Minutemen, and he also has access to 8 crossbowmen, which he can time to arrive at the same time as 2 batches of Minutemen. So barracks isn't super important. It sounds really odd, but something he'll want at some point. May well edit in now with this 600 wood, something like that. But yeah, he's at the moment maintaining 3 docks.
So fast.
Yeah,
to get those boats out,
and that's the schooner shipping, right? I'll show you what it does.
Faster production,
fishing
and
boats
as
change,
well.
40% more quickly. Really, really strong.
Can we look at Gungun's deck though? I mean, has he got any thing in there just to deal with? Yeah, he has got caravels. Look, and I imagine he's actually coming down to siege this trade post, but if he sends the caravels in the right side, he could pick up a lot of those. By the right side, I mean the south side, because that would be the correct side.
The correct side,
yeah. But he will find a couple of villas. That's nice.
Yeah, the trouble is though, 2 caravels. I guess up here would be strong. It's just 2 docks. Like they'll get anti-ship damage when the boats go inside.
Yeah.
But at least he could sort of park them here, right? And these boats wouldn't be able to, once these fish are done, which they're all gathering from now. When there's no more, they wouldn't sort of be able. It would at least force the blue player to actually train spend some resources on defending the ocean. So 2 caravels still would be effective there, but you can't destroy the docks or anything like that with them.
If this was Age 2, it would be so over for Gungun right now. It may very well be very much over for him as well here, but it doesn't look good, does it?
Rendering, God, Eddie just being so greedy, right? He's just I'm just going to send this fishing upgrade. I don't need coin or anything to trade. Land units, what are they? I don't need to train those, right?
And the most amazing thing about this as well, he can keep 2 villagers in queue at all times with the amount of food he's getting off the water. So his eco is not just growing because of the extra docks, but also for the extra TC as well.
Yeah.
It's insane.
It's like every village is tasked to wood at the moment. Is brilliant. Well, actually a lot of every vill. Well, when I say vill, I guess the boats aren't actually. But okay, looks like
Here we go.
He is going to come down with some land, and this might actually signal some sort of sea push as well. We've got a couple of units sieging the docks, but the dock still has quite a number of hit points. These units are going to take a long time, and it seems like Gungun's not really sure what he wants to do with his units here. He sort of comes down, does a bit of siege. At least he's seen these docks, I suppose, but not going to commit to that. And it just seems.
Wouldn't a good play to be potentially kill those 2 docks, then send the caravels? It's 100% guarantee kill on all those fish.
Yeah, well, though, if he's sieging here, I'm sure, remember, there's 2 caravels for blue as well.
True.
So they'll both, ship their caravels.
Yeah, makes sense.
And sure, you'll be sieging, but his caravels will arrive, and then 2 caravels will shut down any siege pressure from a land army.
But we've got Age 3 coming in for Gungun right now, and we'll see, maybe he'll try and make a big land push here and try and kill the TCs. Maybe we'll see some siege coming out, some Falcons.
Yeah, maybe that's right. 2 cannons definitely going to be the siege seems to be what he needs. But remember, his economy isn't as bad as it looks. He's got this stagecoach here. He's got all 3 of these, and these are worth about 4 villages each. But even still, blue definite, really, really, really far ahead because of all of this fishing he's doing and these upgrades. But it's going to take a while for these to sort of pay for themselves, so to speak. So he's still got a time to do some damage, but it's definitely on Gungun to make something happen. If he really needs to achieve something. Because Eddie is getting very, very far ahead if he can get away with this fish boom.
Yeah, let's see. He's going to take the first dock down now. Second dock should go down, I think, before Ed will get a shipment. So Gungun's timing here is going to be quite fortunate that he can't actually ship those caravels at all. Veteran Musk is done as well there for Gungun. 2 falconets. So I sort of suspected that this would be the play, and he's going to send them down to his army. But I think he needs to siege the TCs pretty quickly, I imagine.
Yeah, it looks like he's coming down here. No, that's a whale. I thought it was a caravel. And a TC going up on the coastline here.
Cool.
I'd like to see it a bit closer to the ocean, because then it would shut, these have, insane anti-ship damage, right? 75 damage there with a 40 range. So that would be... And this is still going to be quite strong against boats, but not super close. Remember, these can still fish. There's no need for drop
sites. They don't need to drop anything off. It's ridiculous.
But they are vulnerable, so if caravels pop in here, or perhaps even a frigate, which is in his deck as well, could clean up these fishing boats.
But it makes no sense, Will. Where are they going to store their fish?
Didn't you... In the colonial era, Zach, they invented...
teleportation,
exactly.
I think, yeah.
They gather the food.
Oh, here we go. He's got his marker there on the left in the sea. He's going to ship the frigate, I imagine here.
Yeah, that definitely something's coming, and it being in the Fortress Age, yeah, I think the frigate is absolutely the case here.
Awesome,
So-
and oh, there you go, the cannon as well here. You know what? I'm feeling Gungun. I'm feeling it.
Yeah, and this is his timing now, right? This is his window. This is where he's intending to do a lot of damage. These cannons going to be tough to deal with, and but Blue, it's not like he doesn't have any military, and he's also up to the Fortress Age as well, aged fast with the Messenger, and is starting to train some Hussars veteran upgrade coming in as well. Going to add in a second stable, and I think now we're just going to start wailing on this TC. Looks like though the frigate has arrived.
Just have to be careful, because there's 2 stables down now. The Cassador's coming out as well. If a bunch of Hussar get on top of those cannons, it will essentially just end this siege. And it looks like those cannons are a little bit undefended to me.
Yeah, they are quite undefended, aren't they? He's got all of his musks.
What's he doing?
He's got all of his units sort of sieging walls and stuff. I suppose he's quite close to a blockhouse, and
But the Hussar will kill them if they're undefended, right? Anyway,
yeah.
they're going out now.
Well, Portuguese, they also sort of don't have any cavalry shipments outside of the Mamelukes, which are expensive, so it's unlikely, let's say a batch of Huss appear under the TC and run towards the cannon, which might be giving him some confidence there. But pulling these back now. Looks like he didn't manage to really... This house quite low, so this one hasn't done sort of any damage just yet. Is cleaning up these fishing boats.
Yeah, I'm pleased to see that, because it's really ridiculous to let those fish go uncontested.
Yeah, and
it's
it
just
looks
such a big boon to your economy.
Eddie is... I mean, these are quite cheap, but... And they are getting cleaned up. I guess he didn't want to commit to building anything to contest this because he's too preoccupied on the land right now. He's worried about this, so instead spending his resources on defending the land push rather than the sea push. He's still got another side of the ocean, but
yeah, he's obviously going to be good on that side for a while now, because I don't know, maybe Gungun doesn't know no, he should know the dock's there. He should have scouted that dock. In fact, I'm almost certain he has. But we're going full veteran Musk and Falk here. Into Ed's Cassador and veteran Hussar.
Yeah.
This seems pretty good for the Falcon and Musk, right? It's not too bad.
It's a good combo, right? These defend your... these will be... And I like how he saved this cannon. It was being shot at by the town centre, but now wants to keep them both alive, just so that he can deal with Cassadors really effectively. But two stables have just been added in somewhere here on the map.
Right.
So it looks like he's getting ready to make a Cossack switch to deal with all of the Cassadors that are coming out, because he appreciates these cannons won't last forever. Eddie will eventually figure out how to do them. But the frigate's gone idle. Come on, the boats are up in the top.
This is so tense. I feel like this is on a knife edge right now. This next fight is going to decide the game. Is Eddie going to be able to get his cavalry in there before Ed push? Is Goon going to get his cavalry in there, his Cossacks, before Eddie pushes out? It's looking like if Eddie takes the fight now, he's probably got a good victory. But it's always hard for me to judge that with the cannons in there as well.
Move, frigate!
The frigate is, definitely slacking right now.
Yeah, he's
an idle villager.
He can't even fish, right? The caravels can fish. This guy just floats there and does nothing. He's not contributing anything
Right,
to the...
at least go and do your job.
Yeah.
If a job's worth doing, it's worth doing well.
His job is to shoot guns at poor sailors fishing for food, right? And he's just
Wow, I
having
didn't know greatcoats affected fishing ships. That's cool.
Does it?
Yeah.
I actually don't think it does.
Oh, okay.
I think it's just displayed.
It's a lie.
I think it's a lie.
Okay, fight. Here we go. Let's see if we got anything here.
Oh, and Manchu.
Hello.
These are going to be very strong against the Hussar. Manchu are essentially dragoons, but they're mercenaries, right? They're cavalry archers. They're very strong here.
I tell you what, those cannons
Cannons coming forward, though.
Ooh, careful.
But
Coats for boats.
coats for boats.
Love it, Albo. Love it. But here we go. This is the fight now. Got to keep those cannons safe. And there's so many dragoons in there as well. It looks to me like Ed's got the advantage here. But
the cannons, they're both up. They're still alive. The first one goes down. It was low HP. It was focused by the dragoons. But the cannon is supplying a lot of damage here. And the Manchu tearing through these Hussars. Look how quickly the Hussars have melted away. And the Musketeers there as well. And there's not a lot of Cassadors left. That cannon did a really good job of killing the Cassadors. And actually, it looks like Red is sort of coming out. Although, I don't know, it looks like you've had a good fight so far, but the blue, there's just so many units
bigger army diplomacy
But yeah,
working wonders
that's
for
how
Ed
that's
there.
how that works. And I think Blue has come out on top, and Russia not able to break this base and win this fight. And it's so important for Russia to do that because Blue had such a big economy for such a long time.
He still does have a big economy, to be fair, but that has been alleviated by the fact that Goon did add his second TC in the south. I think Goon is not out this by any means, but it's going to be difficult now if Ed decides to make a push. He's dropping down more blockhouses. He's going for Strelet as well, fighting before the veterancy upgrade comes in, and needs to take a fight and equalize this military count. This could be quite a long game. I think I'm feeling this.
You're
this
feeling
going
it
for a while. Yeah,
he's set up with all 3 TCs. That's definitely going to give him some catch-up potential, so to speak.
He's got good map control as well up until this
Yeah,
point.
and
So
he
he
has
has the advantage of the hunt, which of course Ed hasn't had. He's obviously had the boats instead.
He's
but-
not needed the hunt. That's
Yeah.
true. But at least the frigate's been. They can sail under rocks and they can sail off the map. Amazing.
What can't they do?
Brilliant. Look at this position, though.
Strellet combat being sent there. No Boyars though. I'm surprised he wouldn't send Boyars here.
Yeah,
Has he not got Boyars in his deck? Because that has to be
you-
categorically better at this point, right?
15%, and this is just 20%.
But only on Strelets. But he's also got Cossacks.
Yep. Don't ask me.
Okay. Well,
Goon,
anyway.
maybe Goon Goon's rusty and has forgotten about it. But this is not ideal, right? Getting really nice picks on these expensive Manchu, and they're just going to sort of loses a few of them there.
Oh, look at all those hunters like protected by the blockhouses there. I love it. But, and the TC, it's really safe. It's like a fortress of blockhouses. But he's definitely got the production. Does he have the resources though? It looks like Yugun's got a lot of coin. In fact, his eco is booming right now as well. And after taking out some more of those fishing ships, the actual recalculated eco is looking quite even, to be honest.
Yeah, and but I think Eddie is just being more out on the map with his units, and it's still Skirmgoon, still very difficult for Russia to deal with. Skirmishes just outrange all of Russia's stuff, and he's starting to take down this trade post and sort of add them in himself. So this, these stagecoach here not going to be. Oh, but there are Strelets in the bottom. They do have Strelet combat on them though. That maybe to answer your question, he's gone Strelet combat just because he intends to make pure Strelets.
Well, that's reasonable.
Then that suddenly,
Yeah.
then 5% extra
Yeah.
attack is probably better than Boyaz. But and I think Strelets is a fine choice here. Strelets good against Musks, they're good against Dragoons, and against the Cassadors, well, Strelets and Cassadors are very similar units, so they're not going to do any extra damage. But I think lots of Strelets seems like a very
What have
good
we got there
idea.
on the left? Some cav coming in. We've got cav archers coming through as well.
Yeah, these Russia don't have Dragoons,
No.
but they do have Cav Archer, which are functionally similar.
This will be interesting. I think Blue's in a position now where he can just spam a lot. 37 bills on food. He's got 2k coin in the bank as well, so he's just sort of committing everything he's got now to training units. And that coin's really ballooning out of control almost. I don't know what he's going to do about that.
What Goon Goon's coin? Let's take a look at his deck there. Yeah, he doesn't have anything to
He's
spend
got
that.
the 9...
The Manchu, yeah, he sent that already though.
He did.
That's so.
yeah, you're right, he did.
So I wonder what that coin is for. Let's take a look at his base here. Maybe we'll see what he sends. I think he's just gathering coin and needs to re-macro. We'll see.
Yeah, it's up to nearly 3k now, whereas Eduardo is actually...
Perhaps there'll be an artillery switch. Maybe we'll see a bunch of cannons come out with that gold.
I was going to say, Ed looks like he's about to pick up to...
Industrial for sure.
Industrial Age,
And
yeah.
he's got Mamelukes out as well.
Goodness me.
With the cavalry cuirass upgrade, hopefully
Go.
they've 1,600 hit points on a cavalry unit.
Jeez, that's insane.
A big raid though. Looks like the goons have found themselves in Goon Goon's base. The goons in Goon Goon.
Goon in Goon Goon. This is looking incredibly strong now for the ports.
But he's got his stuff on the way back,
yeah,
right?
he has, but it's Strelet, and it's he's behind in military unit population, and the majority of his units are Strelets. So pound for pound, they are a lot weaker than what Ed has on the field. Plus, Ed has macroed much better this game, I feel. Look at the gold or the coin for Goon right now. He's up to 3,000. Meanwhile, Ed's economy nicely spending down those resources and advancing up to age 4. So I think overall he's in a much better position. Macro.
But this is still, I agree with it. It looks like he's got a lot of extra units, right? But remember, he is aging behind this, so he's not got any reinforcements coming across the map. Maybe he won't need them, though. The Mamelukes are just so powerful.
Mameluke, they're tearing through everything.
Yeah.
They're not going to die. They will not die.
Their function is just to sponge, and the GG coming in. They have 40% range resist and all these hit points, and all of these strelets and all units generally in RTS seem to attack the closest unit to them, right? And that's ideal if you have 40% range resist and a ton of hit points. But that is going to be the end of the series. Eddie does pick up the final victory in this series, making it 3-1. The chat was favouring Gungun.
The whole series as well. They favoured Gungun.
Yeah. What was the point? Can we see the points? It's going to be incredible.
I think
either there'll be no one will have any points because they bet them all away and lost, or someone will have an exceptional number of points because they got all the bets right on these unfavourable outcomes that still.
It's Vividly again.
God, this guy! He's
every time. Look at him go.
But literally, Jesus did come second. So using his prowess of predicting outcomes there, the prophet.
Sorry, but Vividly Playing takes the cake like twice in a row now,
and by quite a large. Can you scroll up by quite a large margin?
Quite a large
5,600 hit points. Vividly Playing, representing the Samurai Revolution Discord. Thank you very much for participating in the betting, everyone, and congratulations. By the way, thank you Vividly yesterday for posting about our stream in that Discord. But yes. That is going to be the end of the series. This is almost an upset, so to speak.
We'll do a quick roundup of that as well. So we saw Game 1, Fertile Crescent. Ed starting off strong with the victory as the Germans there. Pampasieros was vetoed out, and then we went on to Florida, where we saw Ed get his second victory, making it match point as the Britons beating the Sioux of Gungun. Gungun, though, fighting back. He didn't want to go out with a 3-0 and face the shame. He did pick up the win in that Japan mirror, which was quite a decisive victory from him as well.
I thought he was going to win the Russia versus Ports and go back to 2-2, and I thought we're in for a real treat. We're going to see the final game in a best of series, right? But I'd say that's almost an upset. Gungun was formerly like PR40, sort of on par with Lord Raphael and some of the other top players. There's this excellent, in fact, set as on my personal YouTube channel, right? There's this game, Lord Raphael versus Gungun, and it was just this exceptional, like 3.5 hour long best of 7 series, not even a best of 9, right? And like Gungun used to be so on form, but clearly atrophied. He's not been playing as much. Came back for this tournament, but perhaps Eddie bested him. It's not the end of Gungun's tournament life, though, because he will be put through into the lower bracket. But I think he's going to tear up the lower bracket. And remember, Gungun, I reckon he could. Well, I think he's just such a good player. He will tear it up, and he's going to have time to practice a bit. Maybe he can get some of that skill back. We'll keep an eye on Gungun, but I think Eddie going to be very pleased with himself. That was perhaps a bit of an upset, and I'm very impressed with that series. But yes, those are my thoughts for the series. Yep.
Awesome stuff. Yeah, good series and good win for Mr. Ed there. He'll go through as the underdog as well, which was it's always nice to see an underdog victory in a way.
Yeah, we'll have to keep an eye on his. Like, I want to watch him through this tournament.
Next. What's going to happen next in the round of 32? But we'll be taking a quick break now. We'll be back very shortly in about 3 minutes' time.